Shattered Days begins at the crash site in an open field on northern France on March 19, 1944. My uncle Thaddeus Grace and Elliot Benzer are the only two survivors at the crash site. Elliot Benzer's pretty beat up from the crash. He suffers from major injuries, who ends up dying there at the crash site, but not before he reveals to my uncle Thaddeus his name and says his name is Thaddeus Grace. That's the first that he knows of his name. Elliot prepares him that the Germans are coming. You can hear them coming through the trees. Prepare yourself, because they're coming. As the Germans get there, Uncle Thaddeus tries to fight them off the best that he can. The only thing he has is a pistol, and he ends up getting shot in the upper left chest. And he passes out from his injuries. It was at that point, on March 19, 1944, that his life changed forever. He knew nothing. He didn't know where he was or anything of that nature. And that's when he first found the photograph, and that's the only thing that he ever had. That's the only thing that carried him all the way through the war was this photograph, and he kept it with him, always. He kept it close to his heart, no matter what. And every night he would write letters, to keep his sanity, whether it was just of my day was okay, or he would always, those letters were almost as if he knew exactly who he was talking to. He confided in her, which is strange to me. He confided in someone that he's never even met. But he respected this woman in the photograph because of how he saved her, how he kept her, how he knew he could come to his constant, and she was there. And so he respected her for that, and then he admired how she saved him. And so he fell in love with her. But what sets their love apart was the fact that he didn't love her because she was beautiful. He loved her because he admired her and he respected her and how much that she had saved him and how much he knew that he needed her. He gets rescued by a French village, a guy in a nearby village, nurses him back to health, which was very dangerous back in that time to harbor an American. And if they happened to find an American being harbored there, that would have just been detrimental to the whole village. And so he joined the French militia and actually took that village that he was rescued in and caused them to come together, and they stood up against the German army. They didn't have any weapons. Nothing like that to go against the Germans with. They just had the trees, and they brought the Germans in for an ambush and just overtook them that way. They fought them that way until they could get weapons. He fought all the way through the remainder of World War II from 1944 till the end. And so when the war was over, great, it's time to go home. But he doesn't have any documentation. He has no way to identify himself. So he's stuck in France for 70 years. There's no way to bring him home. So in this photograph, he doesn't know what role she plays in his life, and although he doesn't remember, anything about her, but he knows that in his heart that he still has a connection, he still has that love for her. Whatever role she played in his life, he knew that connection was there and it was strong, and that's what drove him. And so he fought, and his mission was to, make it through the war, and maybe one day be able to find her and just simply say thank you. That's all he ever wanted to do. Everything that my Uncle Thaddeus has been through, the crash site, being shot, losing his memory, the only thing he's left with is this photograph that he doesn't know who she is, what role she plays in his life, but he knows that he has this connection for her, and that drives him through the remainder of the war and everything that he goes through even there. At Normandy Cemetery, nearly 70 years later, is really where this story begins.